I think everybody expected that they were going to lose the Supreme Court. I mean, it was kind of the dogs in the street knew they were going to lose. I believe and I hope that there will be a very hard Brexit. I think the harder Brexit becomes, the more likely it is that in 2 years' time, when the British government arrives back, either to Parliament or people, with the pretty poor deal they're going to get, is that either there will be a general election or the British may reconsider and vote again. There is no upside to the UK leaving Europe. It will not give them control over their borders. They tried to control the border between the North and the Republic for the last about 30 or 40 years and proved manifestly incapable of doing it. And I have little doubt that the UK economy will be very badly damaged by what is inevitably going to be a hard Brexit. And I think when the UK population begins to consider, what they were misled into voting for, which is we can leave Europe but everything will stay the same, and they begin to realise in 2 years' time that we're leaving Europe and nothing is going to stay the same. It is going to be manifestly worse for the UK economy, for UK jobs. The banks are already beginning to export thousands of jobs out of the City of London, and that is just the start of, we ourselves have postponed job creation in the UK in favour of Europe. So I think the best outcome could well be a very hard Brexit that causes the more sensible members of the British electorate, and certainly in the House of Parliament, I think she'll struggle to get a very bad Brexit deal through the Houses of Commons.
And with that, the Irish government trying to attract more businesses here to Ireland, is there anything they could do for Ryanair?
Well, no, Ryanair is already one of the biggest employers. I worry about the Irish government and what they're doing full stop. The fairly limp-wristed response to the Apple tax ruling, where the European Commission has completely overreached itself. It has no role, and the state aid section of the European Commission has no role in national taxation matters, which are devolved and which Ireland has total autonomy over. I think if you look at the plans both announced by Philip Hammond to significantly lower UK tax rates, Donald Trump to significantly lower US tax rates, you can see the world is moving towards Ireland's position and not vice versa. Now, you do have the French who want everybody to move in a different direction. So without high tax rates everywhere in Europe, that's doomed to failure. So I think Ireland needs to be much more aggressive about its tax policy, not so much on corporation tax. The big bugbear in this country is the rates of personal tax, and the fact that young people are hitting the top rate of tax, which is 57, 58%, on €35,000. It's a joke. I think our struggle to attract people to come here to attract foreign inward investment is also going to be hampered by these ludicrous rates of personal tax. Anybody here in Ireland earning less than 100 or 200,000 should not be paying anything more than 25% rate of tax. Fine, you can torture rich guys like me, but the normal average Joe should not be paying more than 25% rates of tax. And we will not attract lots of inward investment into Ireland from the UK or elsewhere unless we do something to fix these crazy rates of tax. And now is the time to do it, because corporation tax revenues are rising, VAT receipts are rising, the economy is recovering. But instead of pissing away all this money on lunatic projects advanced by the left, we should actually be using it to reduce personal tax rates for people with incomes of less than 200,000 or 400,000 pounds a year or euros a year. They should be guaranteed that they'll pay no more than 25% rate of tax.
You said that the UK government doesn't have a buzz notion about what they're doing.
No.
Where they're going. Is the Irish government as bad, or what would you
To be fair to the Irish government, it's very difficult for the Irish government to have a plan when the UK government don't have a plan. I think the real challenge where I worry about the Irish government is when they are told, and they will be told, to put up a hard border between here and north of Ireland. We will be told that the common travel area cannot survive a hard Brexit. Is Enda Kenny going to turn around and tell his friends around the table to Foxtrot Oscar, or is he just going to roll over the way he did on the Apple tax ruling? And frankly, I wouldn't have a lot of faith in his ability to stand up to anybody. And we need to defend the Irish interest. You have Pierre Moscovici running around talking about forcing up tax rates, where every European treaty says Ireland has control over its tax, and we should tell Europe to feck off themselves, as we should have done on the Apple tax ruling, instead of worrying about whether there was going to be an appeal or not. Sure, Apple were always going to appeal it. It's what our government are going to do. And the government needs to be much more muscular, and it's a good phrase, in defending both the common travel area and the open border between here and the north of Ireland. But I very much doubt they will.